Hello, English class. Hi. So, keeping in the theme of the week, looking at your personality, looking at jobs. Um, so we have to be kind of real here. I would have loved to have been a filmmaker, and my parents told me that there are like three movie people that make money making films in like the world. Just kidding, it's not three, it's more than that. But there wasn't enough job stability, and they wouldn't pay for my college. So they told me I had to pick a career that had stability and that I would get a job when I graduated. And if I did that, they would pay for it. So I went, okay, that sounds convincing. So, I went into teaching because let's be real, we're always going to need teachers. So you want to think about it's great to have, to pursue your dreams. You should pick a job that you love and that you find, that you're passionate about, you're interested in. But there are some things that you want to think about in addition to just your love and passion for it. How much will you make at this job? That's something you want to think about. How much of a demand is there? You're going to spend this time and money going to school, going to training, that once you go through whatever program you've chosen, you really want to make sure there's a job at the end of it. I think that's pretty important. So, what we're going to do today, all right, what we're going to do today is, sorry, you also need to think about the education required. Some of you want to go to college, some of you don't, some you want to go to vocational training. And then this goes to region. So I'm just going to talk you through how this page works. So it says filter by region. Now, I was going to leave it as is, and it's called the Minnesota State Career Wise. So if you leave it as, I think it starts just like statewide, it's going to tell you the jobs in Minnesota. The issue with that is some jobs are regional, meaning there are more demand for them in certain places than others. So, for example, I'm not going to get this right. My cousin got a degree in something having to do with meteors and rocks. I don't even understand. He could have gotten jobs in Colorado, outside of New York. There were no jobs for his particular field here. So, depending on the job, and also there might just be a higher demand for certain jobs in certain places in the country for a multitude of reasons. So, I would pick a region to filter. I wouldn't just look at Minnesota. So we live in the Northeast. So that's what I'm going to look at. If you're thinking about moving or going somewhere else, maybe that'll sway your decision. So Northeast, submit. I think that's what I was already looking at. All right. And then it gives you these jobs. So the first one, for example, a personal care aide. You click on it and it will give you an idea of what it is. They tell you how much the person makes an hour in this area. 12.78, not great, right? The average growth, meaning 33%, meaning that this is a growing field. Education wise, you need a high school diploma, and then it tells you what the job is like. And then they give you job titles. So a caregiver, personal care assistant. Oh no. Um, Sorry, that'd be really funny if my computer dies in the middle of this. So those are some of the possible careers, and then you can click for more information. So if you think to yourself that's not exactly what you want to do, I want to scroll through this for a second. All right, we're plugged in. Okay, so associate's degrees. So that's 2 years of college. It's a high demand, $31 an hour. Now we're talking, especially that's a pretty good wage considering the amount of education involved with 2-year degree. So a registered nurse, I mean, right now, geez, those folks are working. They're real heroes right now, and they're working a lot. There'll always be jobs in this field. So you can learn more about the wage. 11% growth, and again, what need we are in right now. An associate's degree. On a side note, I don't know every single school and what they offer, but I know that Queensborough College has a fantastic nursing program. So that's something you can think about. Here are some of the job tasks, and here are some of the other things that we call a registered nurse. Okay, so that might be something you're thinking about when you're scrolling down. Vocational training, right? So a licensed practical nurse is making $10 an hour less, but you're doing vocational training instead. So you might want to look at what are some of the differences um, in the tasks, what do they look like, what does the person do, etc. So you're going to scroll through here. The only thing I'll show you right here where it says teacher's assistant, a TA, there's a dash. Some jobs are not paid by the hour, they're annual pay. So I am an annually paid employee because I do not have a regular 9 to 5 job. I'm off in the summertime, things like that. So the numbers here indicate an hourly rate, whereas if there's a dash, that's going to indicate an annual rate. So this would be how much the TA makes a year, about $32,000. Okay. So if you scroll down, you're going to see that there are a lot of pages. Okay. So there's different things that you may want to click about. Let's skip to page 4 just for, okay. So again, there are certain things that you want to look at. So for example, let me actually go to page 6 and I'll show you something. So if you go all the way to the last jobs here, out of 5, they're only getting 3 stars, meaning that this may not necessarily be a really high demand um, a job, that maybe it's not as steady of getting that job. So let's see, a real estate broker, right? $31 an hour. You only need a high school diploma, but there's only 2.5% of growth in statewide. Why might not there be too many real estate brokers? Not to sound all driven. Current demand. Look at this. The career is currently in very, very low demand. That's because we have a pandemic. I mean, people aren't really looking at purchasing or renting places in the middle of all this. So you have to keep in mind, will this job be available, or excuse me, will there be jobs available in this field when I graduate? So I would stick more over in the first and second page in terms of job security. Okay, so you're, oh wow, $100, $1 an hour, man. I have a graduate degree. I should look at that after this. Uh, anyways, class. So take a few minutes, look through this, click along, especially look at some jobs maybe you never heard of. Um, I think your attendance activity today is to post about 3 jobs that you learned about today that you hadn't heard of before. All right, I hope you are all doing well, and click away, have some fun.